Oh my love. I take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down till we're dead and buried on the edge of your knife, on the edge of your knife, staying drunk on your vine. Something so loud. Okay, alright. I'm just playing. No, this video is about continuing The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran, myself, past incarnation. So that's if I start crying because so it's very emotional for me. That's why, because I'm so close to it. I'm so close to this work, to all of the work I had done as this incredible soul, this incarnation. Yeah, I realized I just complimented my own soul, and that's okay. That actually makes sense. I would compliment my own soul. I fucking love the fuck out of who I am. Like, I am exactly who I want to be. I've become that. So let's move forward. All right, don't get bogged down in shit. No. Fuck you up, JK. They say the holy water's watered down, and this town's lost its faith. Our colors will fade eventually. Oh my love. I take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary. Here we go. Okay, 30 minutes. What have I been on here for 3 minutes for? Doesn't matter. It's a good preamble. Alright. Again, this is Kahlil Gibran. Incredible artist. And you're gonna hear the depth of soul, the depth of heart, very quickly. And I only got 10 views on the first part of this book that I put out, which is just a few pages, but it's clear that, like, people, they don't know who this person is. They don't know how valuable what he has to say is, and otherwise they'd be paying attention a little bit better, especially in the world that is crashing down around all of y'all. Right. That is vying to fucking destroy you guys. Since you're learning too fast. Anyways. Okay, part 2. Kahlil Gibran. Almitra had then just said, "Speak to us of love." She's speaking to the Prophet. If you want to know where the context of that, you gotta watch the first video. Go back there. Go to that one. This is a continuation. Alright, so he raised his head and he looked upon the people. The Prophet, that is. Kahlil! I'm Kale. I'm Kalinius. He's Kahlil. I mean, they're not the same. They're just similar. Just like to his other deity. digress another time. I digress. But you know what? No, I'm just kidding. Kahlil, mi profeta. The prophet had raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, when love beckons to you, follow him. Follow him, though his ways are hard and steep, and when his wings enfold you, yield to him. Though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you, and when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams, as the north winds lay waste the garden. Whatever. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them, clinging in the earth. Like sheaves of corn he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked, sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in the knowledge become a fragment of life's very own heart. But if in your fear you would seek only a love's peace and love's pleasures, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world, where you shall laugh, but not all your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself, and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and must needs have desires, let these be your desires, to melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness, to be wounded by your own understanding of love, to bleed willingly and joyfully, to wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving, to rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy, to return home at eventide with gratitude, and then to sleep with prayer for the beloved in your heart and the song of praise upon your lips. These are his secrets of love, if you can glean them. Then Almitra, she spoke again and said, and what of marriage, master? And he answered, saying, you were born together, and together shall be forevermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. Aye, you shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of heaven dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone. Even as the strings of a lute are alone, they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together. For the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shade. Wise beyond lifetimes. A woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your own children." Correction. He said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their soul dwells in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children are living arrows. For which your children as living arrows are sent forth beyond yourselves. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrow may go swiftly and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. Then a rich man said, "Speak to us of giving." And he answered, "You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give." Jesus. "But what are your possessions but things you keep and guard for fear you may need them tomorrow?" Fucking genius. "And tomorrow, what shall tomorrow bring to the overprudent dog bearing bones in the trackless sand as he follows the pilgrims to the holy city? 'Tis waste. And what is fear of need but need itself? Is not dread of thirst when your well is full with the thirst that is unquenchable? There are those who give little of the much which they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desire makes their gifts unwholesome. And there are those who have little and give it all. They are the believers in life and the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty. There are those who give with joy, and that joy is their reward. And there are those who give with pain, and that pain is their baptism. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor give with mindfulness of virtue. They give as in yonder valley the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Through the hands of such as these, God speaks. And from behind their eyes, he smiles upon the earth. It is well to give when asked, but it is better to give unasked. Through understanding, and to the open-handed, the search for one who shall receive is joy greater than giving. And it bears repeating. And to the open-handed, the search for one who shall receive is joy greater than giving. And is there aught you would withhold? All you shall someday be given. All you have shall someday be given. Therefore give now, that the seasons of giving may be yours and not your inheritors. You often say, I would give, but only to the deserving. The trees in your orchard say not so, nor the flocks in your pasture. They give that they may live, for to withhold is to perish. Surely he who is worthy to receive his days and his nights is worthy of all else from you. And he who has deserved to drink from the ocean of life observes to fill his cup from your little stream. And what desert greater? Is it desert? What desert greater shall there be than that which lies in the courage and the confidence, nay, the charity of receiving? And who are you that men should rend their bosom and unveil their pride, that you may see their worth naked and their pride unabashed? See first that you yourself deserve to be a giver and an instrument of giving. For in truth it is life that gives unto life, while you who deem yourself a giver, but a witness. And you receivers, and you are all receivers, assume no weight of gratitude, lest you lay a yoke upon yourself and upon him who gives. Rather rise together with the giver on his gifts as on wings. For to be over mindful of your debt is to doubt his generosity, who has the free-hearted earth for mother and God for father. Then an old man, the keeper of the inn, said, Speak to us of eating and drinking. And he said, Would that you could live on the fragrance of the earth, and like an air plant, be sustained by the light. An air plant be sustained by the light. But since you must kill to eat, and rob the newly born of its mother's milk, to quench your thirst, let it then be an act of worship, and let your board stand an altar, which the pure and the innocent of forest and plain are sacrificed for that which is purer and still more innocent in man. When you kill a beast, say to him in your heart, By the same power that slaves you, I too am slain, and I too shall be consumed. For the law that delivered you into my hand shall deliver me into a mightier hand. Your blood and my blood is not, but the sap that feeds the tree of heaven. And when you crush an apple with your teeth, say to it in your heart, Your seed shall live in my body, and the buds of your tomorrow shall blossom in my heart, and your fragrance shall be my breath. And together we shall rejoice through the seasons. And in the autumn, when you gather the grapes of your vineyards for the winepress, say in your heart, I too am a vineyard. I am. And my fruit shall be gathered for the winepress. And like new wine, I shall be kept in eternal vessels. And in winter, when you draw that wine, let there be in your heart a song for each cup. And let there be in the song a remembrance for the autumn days, and for the vineyard, and for the winepress. Then a plowman said, Speak to us of work. And he answered, saying, You work that you may keep pace with the earth, and the soul of the earth. For to be idle is to become a stranger into the seasons, and to step out of life's procession that marches into majesty and proud submission towards the infinite. When you work, you are a flute, through whose heart the whispers of the hours turns to music. Which of you would be a reed, dumb and silent, when all else sings together in unison? Always you have been told that work is a curse and labor and misfortune. But I say to you that when you work, you fulfill a part of earth's furthest dream, assigned to you when that dream was born, and in keeping yourself with labor, you are in truth loving life. And to love life through labor is to be intimate with life's innermost secret. But if you in your pain call birth an affliction, and the support of the flesh a curse written upon your brow, then I answer that not but the sweat of your brow shall wash away that which is written. You've been told that life is darkness, and in your weariness you echo what was said by the weary. And I say that life is indeed darkness, save when there is urge. And I say that and all is urge, and all urge is blind, save when there is knowledge. And all knowledge is vain, save when there is work. And all work is empty, save when there is love. And when you work with love, you bind yourself to yourself, and to one another, and to God. And what is it to work with love? It is to weave the cloth with threads drawn from your heart, even as if your beloved were to wear that cloth. It is to build a house with affection, even as if your beloved were to dwell in that house. It is to sow seeds with tenderness and reap the harvest with joy, even as your beloved were to eat that fruit. It is to charge all things you fashion with the breath of your own spirit, and to know that all the blessed dead are standing about you and watching. Often have I heard you say, as if speaking in sleep, he who works a marble and finds the shape of his own soul in the stone is nobler than he who plows the soil. And he who seizes the rainbow to lay it on a cloth in the likeness of a man is more than he who makes the sandals for our feet. But I say not in sleep, but in the over-wakefulness of noontide, that the wind. But I say not in sleep, but the over-wakefulness of noontide, that the wind speaks not more sweetly to the giant oaks than to the least of all of the blades of grass. And he alone is great, who turns the voice of the wind into a song made sweeter by his own loving. Work is love made visible. And if you cannot work with love, but only with distaste, it is better that you should leave your work and sit at the gate of the temple. Take alms of those who work with joy. For if you bake bread with indifference, you bake bitter bread that feeds but half a man's hunger. And if you grudge the crushing of the grapes, your grudge distills a poison in the wine. And if you sing, though, as angels, and love not the singing, you muffle man's ears to the voices of the day and the voices of the night. Then a woman said, speak to us of joy and sorrow. And he answered, with love. This was his work. His kind of work. He said, your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. It is not the cup that holds your wine, the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven. And it is not the lute that soothes. It is not the lute that soothes your spirit, the very wood that was hollowed with knives. When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find that it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Inseparable. Together they come. And when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep under your bed. upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you at a standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or sorrow rise or fall. And then a mason came forth, and he said, "Speak to us of houses." Excuse me. Yeah. Oh, gotta restart this video. Yes. "Speak to us of houses," said the mason, not the Freemason. And he answered and said, "Build of your imaginings a bower in the wilderness ere you build a house within the city walls. For even as you have homecomings in your twilight, so has the wanderer in you, the ever distant and alone. Your house is your larger body. It grows in the sun and sleeps in the stillness of the night. And it is not dreamless. Does not your house dream, and dreaming leave the city for grove or hilltop? It grows in the sun and sleeps in the stillness of night. It is not dreamless. Would that I could gather your houses into my hand, and like a sower scatter them in forest and meadow. Scatter them in forest and meadow. Would the valleys were your streets, and the green paths your alleys, that you might seek one another through vineyards, and come with fragrance of the earth in your garments. But these things are not yet to be. In their fear, your forefathers gathered you too near together, and that fear shall endure a little longer. A little longer shall your city walls separate your hearths from your fields. And tell me, people of Orphalese, what have you in these houses? And what is it you guard with fastened doors? Have you peace, the quiet urge that reveals your power? Have you remembrances, the glimmering arches that span the summit of the mind? Have you beauty that leads the heart from things fashioned of wood and stone to the holy mountain? Tell me, have you these in your houses? Or have you only comfort and the lust for comfort, that stealthy thing that enters the house as a guest, then becomes a host, and then a master? Aye, and it becomes a tamer, and with hook and scourge makes puppets of your larger desires. Facts. Though its hands are silken, its heart is of iron. It lulls you to sleep only to stand by your bed and jeer at the dignity of the flesh. It makes mock of your sound senses and lays them in thistledown like fragile vessels. Verily, the lust for comfort murders the passion of the soul, and then walks grinning in the funeral. But you, children of space, you're restless in rest. You shall not be trapped nor tamed. Your house shall not be an anchor, but a mast. Shall not be a glistening film that covers a wound, but an eyelid that guards the eye. You shall not fold your wings that you may pass through doors, nor bend your head that they strike not against a ceiling, nor fear to breathe, lest the walls should crack and fall down. You shall not dwell in tombs made by the dead for the living. And though of magnificence and splendor, your house shall not hold your secret, nor shelter your longing. For that which is boundless in you abides in the mansion of the sky, whose door is the morning mist, and whose windows are the songs and silences of the night. And the weaver said, "Speak to us of clothes." And he answered, "Your clothes conceal much of your beauty, yet they hide not the unbeautiful. And though you seek in garments the freedom of privacy, you may find in them a harness and a chain. Would that you could meet the sun and the wind with more of your skin and less of your raiment. For the breath of life is in the sunlight, and the hand of life is in the wind. Some of you say, 'It is the north wind who has woven the clothes we wear.' And I say, 'I was the north wind.' But shame was his loom, and the softening of the sinews was his thread. And when his work was done, he laughed in the forest. Forget not that modesty is for a shield against the eye of the unclean. And when the unclean shall be no more, but where modesty but a fetter and a fouling of the mind. And forget not that the earth delights to feel your bare feet, and the winds long to play with your hair." And the merchant said, "Speak to us of buying and selling." And he answered and said, "To you the earth yields her fruit, and you shall not want if you but know how to fill your hands. It is in exchanging the gifts of the earth that you shall find abundance and be satisfied. Yet unless this exchange be in love and kindly justice, it will but lead to some greed and others to hunger. When in the marketplace you toilers of the sea and the fields and vineyards meet the weavers and the potters, gatherers of spices, invoke then the master spirit of the earth to come into your midst and sanctify the scales and reckoning that weighs value against value, and suffer not the barren hands to take part in your transaction, who would sell their words for your labor. To such men you should say, 'Come with us to the field. Come with us to the field, or go with our brothers to the sea and cast your net, for the land and the sea shall be bountiful to you even as to us. And if there come the singers and the dancers and few players, buy of their gifts also, for they too are gatherers of fruit and frankincense, and that which they bring, the fashion of dreams, is raiment and food for your soul.' That's what I'm doing. And before you leave the marketplace, see that no one has gone his way with empty hands. For the master spirit of the earth shall not sleep peacefully until the needs of the least of you are satisfied. For the master spirit of the earth shall not sleep peacefully until the needs of the least of you are satisfied." A great part. I will pause that. We'll stop here and we'll continue tomorrow. There were a few things I wanted to dig into just for a second regarding the wisdom so beautifully poured in. You know what? I think, no. I'm just kidding. But tomorrow, yeah, I'll do the next 20 pages or 30 pages. And if you prefer me to read slower, I think you can adjust the speed on the video, but that's my suggestion. Anyways, I am here to inspire you. I am a muse of muse in some sense of that word, some beautiful sense of that word, and there's so much more that I need to tell you, that I need to communicate about the value that is within is within me. I want to share that with my family, my human family here on Gaia, Earth. I must. I require myself to do so. Because I didn't go through hell for nothing. And I did go through hell. God sent me through hell, through a family, where I experienced so much hell, but luckily unconsciousness at the same time, and suppression of many things became repression. So at a certain point, my blind spots were so big. I was just assuming everything was cool, or everything was fine, even in the midst of my own destruction, not self-destruction, my own destruction by them, and what they were imparting and implanting within my mind as a child. It's programmable, and they do function like computers in many ways. So it's a perfect analogy about sleep, Santa. I need tacos first. Alright, guys, let's do this.